Jonathan in Texas, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for taking my call. My question is there an alliance or a slight rift between you and the likes of Beck-Limbaugh and Savage, who are also inspiring a lot of other red, white, and blue Americans to wake up? Because wouldn't the rift just complicate things more, or an alliance help more, because they are not people like the CNBC people who bash Republican people? That's my question. Thank you.
You know, incredibly important question. I'm going to draw a picture here. Guys, give me a camera shot for TV viewers at prisonplanet.tv. And for radio listeners, we'll later post a YouTube of this up on the site for everybody. Here's the deal. I am an alternative grassroots radio host who is not part of the left-right paradigm. I don't let myself be put in a box. Okay? Now, it would appear that I'm allies with Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Michael Savage, and others right now because I'm opposing government takeover of health care, because I'm opposing the Copenhagen Global Carbon Tax Treaty, because I'm opposing everything Obama's doing. Limbaugh, Beck, and others aren't opposing Obama on the war. They're saying he's not doing enough. That then gives him left cover when the guy's actually the biggest defense budget ever, expanding all these wars that bankrupt our country and destroy our security. In the left-right paradigm, you've got the left on one end and you've got the right on the other end. Okay? You've got the left on one end, you've got the right on the other end, and they keep everybody contained within this system. I am outside of this system. There are some truths within the left-right argument, but the main fight in the left-right argument is the Republicans and the Democrats, controlled by special interest, fighting with each other for control of the political system. And so when a Republican's in power, the government triples in size, and we launch all these wars, and we lose freedom. And then when Democrats get in power, they expand the size of government, and they expand the wars, and we lose more freedoms. But the rhetoric is different. Now, when the Democrats were in power, they were opposed to the war, to the Patriot Act, to warrantless spying, to the police state, to torture, and to lobbyists. Now that they're in power, they're for it all and have taken it even further than Bush. Now that Republicans are out of power, they want to be with the people with rhetoric that's popular. Hey, we don't want world government. We don't want government health care. We don't want carbon taxes. But as soon as they're in power, unless we really get real leadership in there, it is only going to continue. And then the Democrats will suddenly be anti-establishment. I'm anti-establishment and a constitutionalist no matter who's in power. If George Bush violates the Constitution, I expose him. If Barack Obama violates the Constitution, I expose him. When George Bush is under the control of offshore private interest, I expose him. When Bill Clinton's in power, I exposed him. When Barack Obama's in power, I expose him. You know, if General Petraeus is in power in 3 years, I'll expose him. Or if it's Mitt Romney or whoever it is, I expose him. I'm into facts. I'm into issues. I'm into how things actually work. Okay? And I know that the government gets bigger and we lose freedoms no matter who is in there because of global private interest. Look, things have changed, though, at least. Limbaugh and Beck and Savage could say there was no New World Order, the CFR didn't want world government, there was no North American Union for years. Now, because we educated, myself and many others, mainly the listeners of this show, and Lou Dobbs, educated so many people. He deserves a lot of credit. He's a trailblazer. And look, they kicked him off CNN, bought him out, got rid of him, bought out his contract to be precise. Now, because everybody basically knows world government's real, they've heard the UN call for it, now Limbaugh and all them look pretty stupid never talking about it. So now we're so far down the line, so deep into this, they're now admitting it's real. And I commend them for that. But, again, I don't sit up here bashing these guys all day. Of the three you mentioned, I think Savage has always been the best. But still, he does horrible things like say, and I heard him over and over again say years ago, anyone who disagrees with the government and protests the war is aiding terrorists. You should be arrested and put in a camp. And we shouldn't have to pay for you in a camp, so it should be forced labor. Now, that's basically word for word. That is 180 degrees the opposite of liberty. Let me close shot again, guys. You know, here's liberty and freedom over here, and here's tyranny over here. When Bush was in power, Savage and others were supporting total tyranny. Now that Obama's in power, Savage gets up on his show and says the government may stage terror attacks to take our freedoms. See, now he's on the side of liberty. I haven't seen anything that truthful out of the other two. All I'm saying is, in 3 years, when you get a Republican, you're going to hate me. A lot of you Republicans now love me. Just like Democrats liked me when Bush was in. And then when Republicans get in, you're going to hate me. Liberals hate me now. Conservatives love me. Folks, you got to grow up. I mean, come on. I mean, somehow you've got to grow up and get the facts. Somehow you've got to shatter the left-right paradigm. Please. Somehow you've got to see what's happening. You got two parties fighting over power and paychecks they get from offshore interest. That's it. The government's too big, it's rotten, it's corrupt. They have declassified that our criminal government has staged terror attacks. It's in Army manuals how to stage terror attacks for officers. Folks, all I do is report the facts, okay? We're in a lot of trouble. We've been robbed. Criminal interests don't want you to get control of your government because then they'd be prosecuted. So they want to set up a tyranny so they get away with it. Let's jam in a call.